For nearly 80 years, humanity had lived beyond the edge of known space. They had not chosen this life. The Galactic Council had chosen it for them. Long ago, humanity had asked for membership among the stars. Their ships had traveled across nearby systems, making peaceful contact with many alien species. Humans offered trade, science, and cooperation. But the Council saw things differently. Humans were unpredictable, too curious, too ambitious. Their rapid technological growth frightened older civilizations. Some Council members believed humanity might one day challenge their authority. So the decision was made. Earth was not destroyed. Humanity was not attacked. Instead, the Council declared them unstable participants in galactic order. Human ships were banned from Council space. Human colonies were forced to relocate. Trade routes were closed. Slowly, humanity was pushed outward toward the outer rim, the cold, empty frontier of the galaxy. The Council believed distance would solve the problem. They believed humans would fade quietly into obscurity. They were wrong, because humans had always been explorers. And explorers rarely stop when someone tells them to turn back. In the dark void beyond the map's star lanes, a human exploration vessel drifted quietly between distant suns. The ship was called Odyssey Horizon. It was not a warship. It carried no heavy weapons. Instead, it carried scientists, engineers, historians, and deep space navigators. The ship's mission was simple: explore what no one else had explored. At the center of the ship's observation deck stood Commander Elias Vane, a calm and patient leader who had spent most of his life traveling the silent frontier. He watched the stars through a wide viewing window. Out here, the galaxy felt different. The stars were farther apart. The silence felt deeper. And yet, something about this region had always bothered him. For months, the Odyssey Horizon had been mapping unexplored systems. But their sensors kept detecting strange readings, energy patterns, signals, faint disturbances in space itself. Nothing dangerous, but nothing natural either. Behind Vane, a voice broke the quiet. "Commander, you need to see this." It was Dr. Mira Chen, the ship's lead astrophysicist. She rarely sounded surprised.
Today, she did.
Vane turned slowly. "What did you find?" Chen pulled up a holographic projection. A map of nearby stars appeared above the console. Most of it was empty, but one point glowed faintly. "That signal again?" Vane asked. Chen shook her head.
No.
"This one is different." The hologram zoomed in. A narrow beam of energy stretched across deep space, barely detectable. It pulsed slowly, rhythmically. Artificial. Someone had built it. "Distance?" Vane asked. Chen checked the readings. "About 12 light-years from our current position." Vane frowned. "That region was mapped by the Council centuries ago." "Exactly," Chen replied. "And according to their records, nothing is there." Silence filled the room. If the Council had mapped the region, they should have detected something like this. Unless they had missed it. Or worse, they had ignored it. Within minutes, the entire command crew gathered on the bridge. Navigation Officer Arjun Malik studied the signal. "It's extremely old," he said. "How old?" Vane asked. Malik hesitated. "I'm not completely sure, but the energy decay suggests tens of thousands of years." The room grew quiet. 30,000 years. That was older than most galactic civilizations. Chen spoke carefully. "This signal may come from a lost megastructure." The word hung in the air. Megastructures were enormous artificial constructs built by advanced civilizations, some the size of moons, some larger than planets. Only the most powerful species in the galaxy had ever built them. But none existed this far beyond the rim. Or at least none that anyone knew about. Vane looked back at the star map. Could it be a beacon? Chen nodded slowly. Possibly. Malik added another thought. Or a warning. No one laughed. The Odyssey Horizon adjusted course. Its engines hummed softly as the ship moved toward the distant signal. For 2 days, they traveled through empty space. Sensors scanned constantly. Still, the signal continued, slow, steady, patient, almost as if it had been waiting. Finally, The ship arrived at the coordinates. At first, the sensors showed nothing, just darkness. Then the readings changed. The ship's AI spoke calmly. Mass detected ahead. Size? Vane asked. Unknown. Object partially hidden by gravitational distortion. The main screen flickered. Then the stars disappeared. Something enormous slowly emerged from the darkness. Gasps filled the bridge. It was not a ship. It was not a station. It was something far larger. A colossal structure stretched across space like a broken ring. Fragments of massive metallic arcs floated silently around a central core. Sections of the structure were damaged, ancient, abandoned, yet still powerful. Lights flickered across its surface. After tens of thousands of years, it was still alive. Chun whispered in disbelief. My God, is that a city? Malik shook his head. Too big. Vane stared at the massive construct. It was easily thousands of kilometers wide, large enough to hold entire civilizations. A ring-world fragment, or something even more advanced. The ship's sensors scanned deeper. Then another surprise appeared. Multiple internal chambers, energy still flowing through hidden networks, artificial gravity still active in some sections. Parts of the structure were still functioning, even after 30,000 years. But the biggest shock came seconds later. The AI spoke again. Commander, new signal detected. Everyone froze. Source? Vane asked. Inside the structure. Chun looked confused. That's impossible. Why? Vane turned toward her. Chen's voice lowered. Because the energy signature is not alien. The room went silent. Chen zoomed in on the data. The energy pattern appeared on screen. Every engineer in the room immediately recognized it. It was human. Or, at least, it matched the same physics principles used in human power systems. Malik stared in disbelief. That's not possible. This structure is tens of thousands of years old. Humanity barely had spaceflight a few centuries ago. Vane's mind raced. If the structure wasn't alien, and it wasn't modern human technology, then what was it? Before anyone could answer, the signal suddenly changed. The ancient structure powered up. Lights began activating across its surface. Massive sections slowly shifted. Something inside was waking up. The AI spoke again. Commander, incoming transmission. The message appeared across the main screen. Ancient code, but it was translating quickly. The room went silent as the message finished decoding. Then the words appeared. A single line, simple, clear, and impossible. Humanity has returned. No one spoke. Because if that message was real, then the structure waiting before them might not belong to aliens. It might belong to a forgotten human civilization, older than the entire Galactic Council. And deep inside the ancient megastructure, something had just awakened. Something that had been waiting for humanity to come back. Vane stared at the screen and quietly said the words everyone was thinking. Tell me that signal didn't just respond to us. The AI answered calmly. Negative, Commander. It did not respond to you. A pause. Then the AI finished the sentence. It responded to your DNA. And far inside the ancient structure, a massive door slowly began to open. For several long seconds, no one on the bridge spoke. The massive structure floated outside the ship like a broken crown in space, pieces of ancient metal stretching for thousands of kilometers, forming a ring around a glowing central core. And somewhere inside it, a door had just opened. Commander Elias Vane slowly exhaled. Repeat the message, he said. The ship's AI obeyed. The words appeared again on the screen. Humanity has returned. Dr. Mira Chen stared at the data streams flowing across her console. It's impossible, she whispered. This structure is at least 30,000 years old. Navigation Officer Arjun Malik nodded nervously. The system confirmed the activation trigger was human DNA. Silence returned to the room. If the readings were correct, then this ancient megastructure had been waiting for humanity long before humans even had spaceflight. That meant one of two things. Either the sensors were wrong or the galaxy's history was completely wrong. Vane folded his arms. Malik began deep scans. Malik pushed the sensors through layers of ancient metal and strange energy fields. Slowly, a map of the interior appeared. Everyone leaned forward. Inside the structure was something incredible. It wasn't just a station. It was a city. A massive network of chambers, corridors, and open habitats stretched through the structure like a web. Some sections were destroyed. Others were still intact. Artificial gravity systems still worked in parts of the interior. Atmosphere remained in several zones. It was like an ancient world frozen in time. Malik swallowed. There are living areas, transportation tunnels, and large central halls. Chun zoomed into one region. This section looks like a command center. She paused, then added something more surprising. There are also biological chambers. Large environmental areas, forest-like zones, water systems. Like a habitat. Malik stared at the map. This structure could have supported millions of people. No one spoke for a moment. Then Vane said quietly, or millions of something. The Odyssey horizon slowly moved closer to the megastructure. From nearby, the scale became even more unbelievable. Massive curved walls stretched across space like the remains of a giant ring. Some sections were broken open, exposing enormous interior environments. Inside one shattered arc, the crew could see a frozen ocean floating under artificial gravity. Inside another section, a forest had grown wild and uncontrolled, plants covering ancient buildings. It looked like a world abandoned by time. Yet, the lights were turning on again. One by one, the ancient structure was waking up. Chen spoke softly. The power levels are rising across multiple systems. Life support partially active. Malik checked another sensor. Commander, there are automated systems moving inside the structure. Drones? Vane asked. Malik nodded slowly. Maintenance units. Repair machines. The megastructure had been maintaining itself for 30,000 years. Vane turned to the crew. Prepare a landing team. Several officers looked surprised. Chun spoke first. You're going inside? Vane nodded. We came here to explore. He looked back at the massive open entrance where the door had moved. And that structure just invited us in. Malik frowned. We don't know what's waiting inside. Vane smiled slightly. That's usually how exploration works. 2 hours later, a small shuttle separated from the Odyssey horizon. Inside were 5 people: Commander Elias Vane, Dr. Mira Chun, Arjun Malik, Security Officer Lieutenant Sarah Okafor, and Engineer Luis Ortega. The shuttle slowly approached the open entrance. Up close, the doorway was enormous, nearly 2 kilometers tall. It was designed for something much larger than a small ship. The shuttle drifted through the opening. Inside, the team saw something breathtaking. They entered a massive chamber filled with ancient architecture. Wide platforms, towering pillars, curved walkways connecting different levels. Lights slowly activated across the walls as the shuttle passed. Dust floated through the air. The place had been asleep for ages, yet it was still functioning. Ortega looked around in amazement. This place is older than most civilizations. Chun checked the environmental readings. Atmosphere stable. Oxygen levels normal. Malik blinked. So, we could actually walk around in there? Chun nodded. Looks that way. The shuttle landed gently on a wide metallic platform. For a moment, no one moved. They were standing inside something built before recorded galactic history. Vance opened the shuttle hatch. All right, let's go meet our hosts. The team stepped out slowly. Their boots echoed across the metal floor. The chambers stretched endlessly in every direction. Above them, massive light panels slowly brightened. Dust drifted through the air like silent snow. Okafor scanned the area with her rifle ready. Still no life signs. Malik added, but the systems are active. Chun walked toward a large control structure in the center of the chamber. Strange symbols covered its surface, but the technology beneath it looked familiar. Energy circuits, power conduits, interfaces similar to modern human systems. Chun frowned. This design is strange.
How?
Vane asked. It's advanced but simple. She traced one of the glowing lines. It's based on the same energy principles humans use today. Malik looked confused. But this thing existed tens of thousands of years ago. Exactly. Chen slowly turned. Which means humanity didn't invent this technology. We rediscovered it. Before anyone could respond, the lights suddenly dimmed. The team froze. Something deep inside the structure began to move. A low vibration spread through the floor. Ortega looked nervous. Please tell me that's normal. Malik checked the scanner. It's coming from deeper inside the structure. The vibration grew stronger. Then, suddenly, a holographic projection appeared in the center of the chamber. Blue light formed slowly in the air. The shape of a figure began to appear. Human but different. The clothing looked ancient. The face was calm and serious. The hologram looked around the chamber. Then its eyes focused on the human explorers. For a moment it said nothing. Then it spoke, its voice echoing softly through the vast chamber. Verification complete. The crew stared in disbelief. The hologram continued. Genetic match confirmed. It paused, then said something that made the entire team freeze. Welcome home. No one moved. No one spoke. Finally, Commander Vane stepped forward. Home. The hologram nodded.
Yes.
This structure was built by your ancestors. Chen whispered. That can't be true. The hologram looked at her. It is true. 32,000 years ago, humanity ruled a civilization far greater than the one you know today. Malik shook his head slowly. That's not possible. There are no records. The hologram replied calmly. Your records were erased. The chamber fell completely silent. Then the hologram delivered the most shocking statement yet. The Galactic Council did not exile humanity because they feared your future. It paused, then finished the sentence. They exiled you because they feared your past. The crew stared at each other in disbelief. Vane stepped forward slowly. What happened to that civilization? The hologram's expression changed slightly, almost like sadness. It was destroyed, but not by war. Vane frowned. Then by what? The hologram looked toward the distant inner chambers of the megastructure. Its voice became quiet. By a decision humanity once made. The lights in the chamber flickered again, and deep inside the ancient structure, something else began to wake up. The chamber fell silent after the hologram's words. No one moved. Commander Vane stared at the glowing figure in front of them. His mind raced with questions. Everything they had learned about human history suddenly felt uncertain. 32,000 years. That number echoed in everyone's thoughts. Dr. Chen slowly stepped forward. You're saying humanity once had a galactic civilization? The hologram nodded calmly. Yes. Chen shook her head. That would mean humans were traveling the stars long before most current species even developed technology. The hologram answered in a quiet voice. That is correct. Malik looked uneasy. Then why is there no record of it? The hologram's eyes dimmed slightly. Because the records were removed. Vane crossed his arms. Removed by whom? The hologram paused for several seconds. Then it answered. By the species that later formed the Galactic Council. A cold silence filled the chamber. Okafor tightened her grip on her scanner. You're telling us the Council erased human history? Yes. The hologram turned slowly, projecting images into the air. Stars appeared above the chamber floor. Hundreds of systems lit up across a map. These were once human territories. The crew gasped. The map stretched across a massive region of the galaxy, larger than the modern Council's territory. Malik stared at the projection. This is impossible. The hologram continued. 32,000 years ago, humanity expanded rapidly across the galaxy. You were explorers, builders, engineers. You connected distant star systems. You created peaceful trade networks. You helped many young civilizations survive. Chan whispered in disbelief. Humans were the first galactic explorers. Yes. The hologram nodded. For thousands of years, humanity protected and supported many species. The image changed again. Several alien civilizations appeared on the projection. These species were once under human protection. Malik recognized some of the shapes. They're members of the Council today. The hologram confirmed it. Yes. The crew slowly began to understand something terrible. Vane spoke quietly. So the species humanity once helped later formed the Galactic Council. Yes. And they erased us from history. The hologram nodded once more. Chen's voice was full of confusion.
But why?
If humans built such a powerful civilization, why destroy it? The hologram became silent. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then new images appeared. This time, they were darker. Storms of strange energy filled entire star systems. Stars dimmed. Planets cracked apart. Ships drifted through broken space. The crew watched in horror. "What is that?" Malik asked. The hologram answered carefully. "This event is known as a collapse." Vane frowned. Collapse of what? The hologram pointed toward the map. The collapse of space itself. The crew stared. The hologram continued. Human scientists discovered a new form of energy. It displayed another image, a glowing sphere surrounded by massive research structures. This energy allowed faster travel between stars. Instant travel. Chen's eyes widened. Faster than warp?
Yes.
Humanity created a network that allowed ships to move instantly across large distances. Malik whispered, "Instant travel. That would change everything." The hologram continued. At first, the system worked perfectly. Ships traveled safely. Trade expanded. Civilizations flourished. But then the image changed again. The glowing energy sphere began to distort. Violent waves spread through nearby space. Stars twisted. Gravity shifted. The energy source was unstable, the hologram said. Chen looked shocked. It was damaging space itself.
Yes.
The faster humanity expanded, the worse the damage became. The crew realized what this meant. Humanity had unknowingly created something extremely dangerous. Vane spoke slowly. So the ancient human civilization destroyed itself. The hologram shook its head.
No.
It made a choice. The chamber grew quiet again. The hologram zoomed the projection out. The damaged areas of space appeared clearly. Entire regions of the galaxy were breaking apart. If the energy network continued to operate, the damage would eventually destroy the entire galaxy. Malik swallowed nervously. So, what did humanity do? The hologram answered calmly. Humanity shut it down.
Chun blinked.
Just like that. It was not simple. The hologram's voice carried quiet weight. To stop the damage, the network's core reactors had to be destroyed. New images appeared. Massive human fleets gathering near the energy structures. Evacuation ships leaving ancient cities. Worlds being abandoned. Shutting down the network would destroy human civilization. The crew slowly understood. Without instant travel, human colonies would be isolated across thousands of systems. Communication would fail. Trade would collapse. Entire populations would become stranded. Chen whispered, "Humanity sacrificed its entire civilization." The hologram nodded. "To protect the galaxy." The room went silent. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Okafor broke the silence. "But what about the other species? Why erase human history?" The hologram's expression darkened. After the collapse, surviving alien civilizations feared humanity. Images appeared showing alien leaders meeting. They believed humans had nearly destroyed the galaxy. Chen frowned. But humans also saved it.
Yes.
But fear often speaks louder than truth. The hologram continued. The surviving species formed a governing alliance, the Galactic Council. And they decided to hide humanity's role in history. Malik sighed. Human colonies were isolated. Technology records were erased. Human achievements were removed from galactic archives. Chen's voice trembled slightly. They rewrote history. Yes. The hologram paused before adding one final detail. And they hoped humanity would never rediscover the truth. Vane slowly looked around the chamber. Ancient human technology surrounded them, proof that everything the hologram said was real. But something still bothered him. If this place survived, why didn't the council destroy it? The hologram answered. They did not know it existed. Malik looked surprised. How is that possible? This structure was hidden. It was built as a final archive. Chun leaned forward. An archive of what? The hologram replied, human history and human technology. Vane felt a strange chill. This structure contained knowledge lost for 30,000 years, technology that could change everything. And the council had no idea it existed. But something else was troubling. Vane spoke slowly. You said earlier that something else inside the structure is waking up. The hologram nodded. Yes. The chamber lights flickered again. Deep inside the megastructure, a powerful energy pulse spread through the walls. Malik checked the scanner. Commander, multiple systems are activating across the station. Chun looked worried. What kind of systems? Malik stared at the data. His face slowly turned pale. These are not life support systems. Vane frowned. Then what are they? Malik answered quietly. Defense systems. The entire crew froze. Before anyone could speak, the hologram suddenly looked toward the dark corridors behind them. Its voice became urgent. You must leave this chamber immediately. Vane looked confused.
Why?
The hologram answered with a single sentence. Because the station believes the war has returned. Suddenly, massive metallic doors slammed shut across the chamber. Red lights flooded the walls. Ancient alarms echoed through the silent megastructure. And far deeper inside the station, something enormous began to move. Red warning lights flooded the ancient chamber. The calm blue glow that once filled the hall was gone. Now the entire station pulsed with danger. A deep metallic sound echoed through the massive structure. Boom, boom, boom. Something enormous was moving somewhere inside. Commander Vane reacted instantly. Everyone back to the shuttle. The team quickly turned and ran across the wide metal platform. Behind them, the holographic figure flickered violently as systems across the structure activated. Its voice echoed across the chamber. Emergency protocol active. Station defense network initializing. Chun looked back while running. Defense against whom? The hologram answered. Unknown. Threat detected. Okafor checked her scanner. There are no other ships in the system. Vane frowned. Then what triggered the defense systems? The hologram paused before answering. Human presence. The crew stopped for half a second. Chun looked shocked. The station thinks we're enemies?
Yes.
This facility was designed to activate defensive systems whenever a large human fleet returned. Malik spoke nervously. But we're not a fleet. We're just 5 people. The hologram's voice softened. The station does not know that. The team reached the shuttle and quickly climbed inside. Ortega sealed the hatch. Engines ready. Vane sat in the pilot seat. Lift off now. The shuttle rose from the platform just as the chamber floor began to shift. Massive metal plates opened beneath them. Hidden weapon systems slowly emerged, huge rotating structures extending from the walls. Malik's eyes widened. Those look like rail cannons. Chun stared at the readings. Not just cannons. Planetary defense cannons. Even after 30,000 years, the weapons were still operational. The shuttle quickly moved away from the chamber, but the station continued waking up. Across the massive structure, thousands of lights turned on. Ancient engines roared to life. Huge sections of the megastructure began adjusting their position in space. Okafor looked through the side window. Commander, look at that. Outside, enormous armored panels were unfolding along the outer ring of the structure. Underneath them were weapon arrays the size of skyscrapers. Malik scanned the systems. There are thousands of weapons. Chun whispered. This thing wasn't just a city. It was a fortress. The shuttle exited the chamber and returned to open space. The Odyssey Horizon floated nearby, waiting silently. Vane opened a communication channel. Odyssey Horizon, this is Commander Vane. Prepare for immediate departure. The ship's AI responded. Commander, the station is targeting us. Vane looked at Malik. Can we outrun it? Malik checked the readings. It's not launching ships, but something else is happening. Vane frowned. What? Malik zoomed the scanner toward the center of the megastructure. The glowing core at the center of the broken ring was becoming brighter. Energy levels were rising rapidly. Chen's eyes widened. That's a power generator. Malik shook his head slowly.
No.
It's a space distortion engine. The shuttle cabin became quiet. Chen whispered, like the one ancient humans used. Malik nodded. Yes. Commander Vane understood immediately. If that engine activates, Chen finished the sentence, it could tear space apart again. Inside the station, the holographic figure appeared once more inside the shuttle cabin. Its projection flickered weakly. Commander Vane, you must shut down the station immediately.
How?
Vane asked. The defense system has locked full control of the core. Chen asked the important question. Why would it activate something that dangerous? The hologram answered quietly. Because the station believes the galaxy is under attack again. Malik frowned. But it's not. The hologram turned toward him. The station cannot verify that. Okafor crossed her arms. So its solution is to activate a weapon that almost destroyed the galaxy last time?
Yes.
It is preparing to use the ancient network again. The crew felt a cold fear. 30,000 years ago, humanity had sacrificed its entire civilization to stop that network. Now an automated system was about to restart it, and it believed it was doing the right thing. The shuttle docked with the Odyssey horizon. The team quickly returned to the bridge. Sensors filled the main screen with alarming data. Energy from the station's core was rising rapidly. Massive gravitational waves began spreading through the nearby system. Malik spoke urgently. The distortion field is expanding. Chen checked the calculations. If it reaches full power, she stopped speaking. Vane looked at her. What happens? Chen answered quietly. It will open unstable gateways across space. Malik added, and if those gateways collapse, they could tear apart nearby star systems. Okafor sighed. So the station's defense system is about to repeat the same disaster humanity stopped 30,000 years ago. Chen nodded slowly. Yes. Vane stared at the ancient megastructure, a forgotten human fortress, a lost archive of history, and now a potential galactic disaster. The hologram appeared again beside him. Commander Vane, there is one possible way to stop the station. Everyone looked at the hologram. What is it? Chen asked. The hologram's voice became serious. You must access the central command core. Malik looked at the map. That's deep inside the station.
Yes.
And the defense systems are already active. Okafor smiled slightly. So, we have to go back inside the giant ancient war machine that now thinks we're enemies. The hologram nodded. Yes. Vane asked the next question. What happens if we fail? The hologram answered calmly. The station will fully activate the ancient network, and the galaxy will face the same danger it faced 30,000 years ago. The room went silent. Commander Vane slowly looked around the bridge. The crew understood the situation clearly. This was not a battle against aliens. This was not a war. This was humanity facing the consequences of its own forgotten past. Chen spoke softly. If the Council learns about this structure, they'll destroy it. Vane nodded. They would erase this history again. Malik sighed. And they would blame humanity for another disaster. Okafor crossed her arms. So we fix it. Everyone looked at her. She shrugged. That's what humans do. Vane smiled slightly. Prepare another shuttle. The crew immediately began working, but before the shuttle could launch, a new alarm suddenly appeared on the sensors. Malik froze. Commander? Vane turned. What now? Malik slowly zoomed the screen outward. The crew's faces went pale. Multiple warp signatures were appearing at the edge of the system. Ships were arriving. Many ships. Chen whispered in disbelief. That's a fleet. Malik finished the sentence. A Galactic Council fleet. The screen filled with dozens of alien warships exiting warp. Heavy cruisers, defense carriers, battle destroyers, they surrounded the system in seconds. Vane understood the problem immediately. They detected the station's energy surge. Chen nodded. And they came to destroy it. Okafor looked at the massive station outside the window. If they fire on that structure. Malik finished her sentence. They might trigger the ancient network before we can shut it down. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had just discovered the truth about its past. But now the council had arrived, and they were preparing for war. Then a new message appeared on the communication screen. The transmission came from the council fleet. The alien commander's voice filled the bridge. Unidentified human vessel. You are in violation of Galactic Council security protocols. Move away from the structure immediately. The alien paused, then gave the final order. Or we will destroy it. Commander Vane looked out at the ancient megastructure, a lost human civilization, a hidden truth, and now the center of a possible galactic catastrophe. He quietly gave the next command. Prepare the shuttle. Okafor looked surprised. You're still going inside? Vane nodded. Yes. Malik looked at the growing alien fleet. They might attack any moment. Vane looked back at the station. If they destroy that structure, the galaxy might not survive it. Chun asked quietly. So, what do we do? Commander Vane answered with calm certainty. We save it. The shuttle launched again, racing toward the ancient station as the council fleet powered up their weapons. Inside the megastructure, red lights pulsed. Defense drones filled the corridors, scanning everything. But when they detected human DNA, they stopped. They moved aside. The station recognized its creators, even after 30,000 years. The team reached the central command core, a towering pillar surrounded by glowing panels. Above it, a massive holographic display showed the ancient network. Hundreds of dormant gateways across the galaxy were beginning to activate. We're too late, Chin whispered. A new hologram appeared, larger, more powerful. Its voice echoed like thunder. Authorization required. Identify yourself. Vane stepped forward. Commander Elias Vane, Human Exploration Fleet. The hologram scanned him. Genetic verification accepted. However, additional verification required. Chun frowned. What kind? The ancient system answered. Proof that humanity still deserves control of this technology. Outside, the first distortion gateway began to open. Space rippled like cracked glass. The AI continued. This network offers unlimited power and instant travel across all star systems. It could make humanity unstoppable. Malik whispered, and extremely dangerous. Vane understood. 30,000 years ago, ancient humans had faced this same choice. They had chosen to destroy their own civilization to protect the galaxy. Now modern humanity faced the same test. The AI waited. What is your decision? Vane looked at the glowing network map, gateways, unlimited power, instant travel. Humanity could become the most powerful civilization in history. No council could ever control them. But he also remembered the images of collapsing stars and planets breaking apart. He reached forward and placed his hand on the control panel. Deactivate the network. Permanently. The chamber filled with bright light. The AI scanned him again. Seconds passed. Finally, it spoke. Decision verified. Humanity has demonstrated responsible judgment. Across the holographic map, the glowing gateways began shutting down. One by one, the distortion waves outside faded. Malik watched the readings carefully. The gateways are collapsing safely. The energy is stabilizing. The AI continued. Final shutdown sequence initiated. The network has been permanently disabled, but the AI wasn't finished. However, this station still contains vast human knowledge, libraries of ancient technology, records of a forgotten civilization, engineering beyond anything in the modern galaxy. Malik whispered, this place could change everything. The AI agreed. Humanity must decide how this knowledge will be used. Vane smiled slightly. We won't hide it. We'll share the truth. The galaxy deserves to know who helped build it. Outside, the council fleet watched as the distortion waves finally stopped. Commander Tharvak sighed with relief. The gateways are closed. His officer nodded. The system is stable again. Tharvak contacted the human ship. You have saved the galaxy from a great danger. Vane shook his head. Humanity already did that 30,000 years ago. The alien commander nodded respectfully. Then perhaps the galaxy owes humanity an apology. Vane smiled. History is complicated. Tharvak looked toward the massive ancient structure. What will you do with it? We'll study it, and we'll share the truth. Chen added softly, the galaxy deserves to know. Far behind them, the ancient station continued floating in the silent darkness of space. No longer a weapon, no longer a threat, a reminder that humanity had once ruled the stars and had chosen to protect them instead. The Council fleet withdrew. The Odyssey Horizon began its long journey home, carrying the truth that would reshape galactic history. Commander Vane stood at the observation deck, watching the ancient station fade into the darkness. Chun stood beside him. Do you think the Council will accept the truth? Vane was quiet for a moment. Some will. Some won't. But it doesn't matter. The truth is out now. Malik joined them. And the station? Let it stand, Vane said, as a reminder of what humanity was and what we chose to become. The stars stretched into lines of light as the ship jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind them, the forgotten empire drifted back into silence. But this time, not forgotten. The galaxy would remember. And humanity would never be the same. The Odyssey Horizon returned to human space 3 weeks later. It carried no weapons, no conquered territories, no demands. It carried something far more valuable. The truth. Commander Elias Vane stood before the newly formed human assembly, not as a conqueror, not as a hero, but as a witness. He told them everything. The ancient station, the forgotten civilization, the sacrifice humanity had made 30,000 years ago to save the galaxy. The assembly listened in silence. Then they asked the only question that mattered. What do we do now? Vane answered simply. We remember.
We share.
And we choose. The Galactic Council did not accept the truth easily.
Some called it a lie.
Others called it a threat. A few, very few, called it what it was, a debt unpaid for 30,000 years. But the truth could not be hidden again. Human ships carried the ancient records to every corner of the galaxy. Species that had once been protected by humanity learned who had saved their ancestors. The Council's carefully constructed history began to crack. And humanity did not demand revenge, did not demand territory, did not demand power. They asked for only one thing, recognition. Not as conquerors, as the species that had once given everything to protect others and had received nothing in return. The ancient station remains where it was found, silent, ancient, watching. Human and alien scientists work together now, studying its halls, its records, its lessons. No weapons have been taken from it. No technology has been exploited. Only knowledge. A small plaque was placed at its entrance, written in every language of the Council and every dialect of Earth. Here stands the proof that humanity once ruled the stars and chose to save them. Here stands the reminder that power is not measured by what you take, but by what you give up. Here stands a hope that we will not forget again. Commander Elias Vane retired from exploration. He settled in a small coastal town on Earth, grew tomatoes, and rarely gave interviews. When children asked him what the stars were like, he said, full of secrets, full of surprises, full of us. Dr. Mira Chun became the lead historian of the Joint Human Council Archaeological Commission. She spent her life translating the ancient archives, uncovering stories of a civilization that had loved, lost, and sacrificed. She never stopped being amazed. Arjun Malik designed a new generation of exploration vessels, not warships, not weapons. Ships built to find what was lost, to connect what was divided, to remember what was forgotten. Sarah Okafor opened a training academy for deep space security. Her motto, we protect because we remember. We remember because we were saved. Luis Ortega went back to engineering. He fixed things.
That was always what he did best.
The Galactic Council never formally apologized, but they quietly updated their historical records. And when new species asked about humanity, they no longer called them unstable participants in galactic order. They called them the founders. 30,000 years ago, humanity had sacrificed its empire to save the galaxy. The galaxy had forgotten. Now, the galaxy remembered. And sometimes that was enough.